Well, good morning, class. I know that you are excited about your first week this summer D term. And so I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Spano, and also wanted to provide you some helpful hints for completing this week's discussion board. Now, I want to remind everybody that it is due on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if that's not your time zone, make sure you make the proper adjustments. Talk a little bit about the discussion board questions and how you can do really the best possible job. First of all, make sure that you proofread your work to clean up any grammar or spelling mistakes. That's really important. Punctuation as well. Second thing is, this week, really work on getting your citations correct. Putting your citations in the form of a footnote. I don't need bibliography, but I do need footnotes. You need 5 citations for your original threads that are due Thursday. And then you need 2 citations per reply. And of course, you have to do 2 replies. And please reply to 2 different students and reply to 2 different questions. Okay? Make sure you take note of the instructions and the word count requirements. Those are very important as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about the first question. The first question is a little straightforward. It talks about the canon. Make sure you define it thoroughly, what the canon is. But then at the same time, make sure you give me a brief history. A lot of times students don't give me very much with this respect, with this part of the question. They just kind of mention it started here, ended here. But give me a little bit more than that. I don't need a ton, but just give me a brief history of the process of canonization. Also, of course, make sure you list and define the criteria, and then also the main motivation for the canon. Well, they'll give you several, but anyway, just the key to these questions. Listen, just simply really answer each part of the question as thoroughly as possible. Don't leave out a section or a part of the question. Just answer every part, and I'm sure that you guys will do great. On the second one, this really talks about what is the traditional evangelical position regarding the canon. Make sure you explain, in detail what that position is. Okay, and then this is sometimes a difficult question for students because they don't really answer the part about Sundberg and his position very well. Make sure you define what Sundberg's position was. Give me what were really the main points of his position, but then also make sure you mention some of the critiques of his position. That's really important. And then, of course, after that, answer the rest, the other parts of that question. The next one just really has to do with the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Essenes. Pretty straightforward question. You may have to do a little digging to really, because I really want to see, who were the Pharisees, what did they believe, and the same with the Sadducees, and the same with the Essenes. Now, the Essenes are a little more difficult because we know less about them. However, do a little digging. If you have some other resources, use them. That might help you find a little bit more information about each one of those groups. So make sure you answer that pretty well. It's probably better to answer it, define and explain the Pharisees first, then the Sadducees, and then the Essenes. Just a little bit clearer. Also, make sure you tell me the theological differences. I want to know what they believed, okay? And also, what was their scripture? What did they hold to be authoritative? Not just scripture. What did they hold to be authoritative? Each group. All right, pretty straightforward question. Then the next one really has to do with the difference between the Synoptic Gospels, which are Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and then John's Gospel. And so just read that question well. Make sure you understand it. Really, the thrust of this question is: do they complement one another, or are they just completely, radically different? And so make sure you answer that thoroughly. Give me the reasons why they complement one another. If that's your position, well, you got to put that because that's part of the question. But just list the reasons why they do complement each other. All right, explain that relationship really well. And then the last one is really the 3 points of integration of New Testament theology. Make sure you list those 3, right? And then what are the core convictions, through the 3 core convictions that flow out of those 3 points of integration. Again, those are different. Give me the 3 3 points of integration, and give me the 3 core convictions that flow out of that. And make sure you do a good job of explaining what those core convictions are, but also what the 3 points of integration. And the great thing is all the answers are in your textbook. You just have to find them and make sure that you answer the questions well. Guys, listen, again, if you have any questions, just simply shoot me an email. As you get ready to celebrate the 4th of July, I hope you have a great one. But make sure you carve out plenty of time to do this first week's discussion board. Okay? All right, guys, have a great week. I'm excited about this term. Look forward to getting to know you guys.